Okay, next question. Merja, you've had such a concentrated 2.5 years with PTSD, multiple bereavements, the Australian bushfires, floods, and now the pandemic lockdown shelter in place. As an introvert and INFJ, how have you coped with the emotional onslaught and barely having time to catch your breath before the next situation happens? How have you built resilience? Are there things you aren't managing or coping with as well as you would like? What support do you need? Oh, thank you so much. I'm actually not sure who asked this question. So thank you. Thank you for caring, because we are all the same. None of us are above any of this stuff. And you were asking, as an introvert and INFJ, how have you coped with the emotional onslaught and barely having time to catch your breath before the next situation happens? How have I managed it? I've barely managed it, honestly. Especially when the PTSD was acute. So I have complex PTSD, so C-PTSD, as well as I had acute PTSD coming up it'll be, over 2 years ago now. And I barely scraped by, honestly. I was able to work about 2.5 hours a day. And when I say work, I mean focus time, meaning where we live, we don't live close to anywhere. The closest shop is like 40 minutes away, like the closest proper shop. So if I needed to go and get groceries, I could get there and get back, and then I'd have an hour. Then I'd have like a half an hour, 40 minutes of other time that I was able to be upright and focus and do work or look after myself, or, look after the house or look after the animals. Those of you who know me, or for those of you who don't know me, I have rescue animals. And if it wasn't for support that I was receiving from my sister in particular, but also from my INF teammates, Ursa and Val and Jacqueline, and, amazing people that we had back then on the team, and still have some of those people, I wouldn't have managed. I would have probably stopped having a business altogether, stopped doing this work altogether, because it was so, I struggled to not only do the work in terms of the time, but I also struggled to offer compassion to other people, so hold space for other people, because I had a limited amount of that. So if I had a 2-hour mentoring call for my integration mentor students, that was all I was doing that day. And I had to build myself up to doing that 2-hour call, in a row. So it was bad. It was really, really bad. How I built up some resilience was just making sure that when I wasn't working, that I would take all the attention and put it on myself, and nurture myself and nourish myself, and do whatever I had to do to really be there for myself. I was doing my inner parenting all day, every day. It was all night too, because I was having really bad nightmares about the abuse that happened when I was a child. And so I felt the abuse every night. Every night I was abused, every night. It felt so real. And just waking up in the middle of the night in terror, just kicking the inner parenting into gear, kicking the 4 people within work into gear, the INFx healing work into gear and just like doing what I can with everything that I had. And that's how I built resilience on that. But when you're in those situations, your brain, your body stops being able to create or secrete feel-good hormones. You when you're in that space, you have to move, you have to do exercise, no matter how hard it is, you have to do it so you get the feel-good hormones from that. You have to make sure that you have enough serotonin in your system. You have to make sure that you're looking after your neurotransmitters. You have to make sure that you force to eat yourself to eat properly, to eat foods that don't cause inflammation in your body, which will make it even worse. So sugar, yeast, dairy, those kinds of things. You have to force yourself to just do what you actually know is the right thing to do. And that was what gave me more resilience. Was I quit coffee, I quit caffeine, I quit drinking, I quit sugar. I started taking supplements that supported my recovery, and from that I was then able to pull myself out. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, C-PTSD is something that is with you for life, but it doesn't have to run your life. And so when it comes to these kinds of acute PTSD episodes, they're a lot more manageable, but they're a lot more intense. When it's on, it's on. And then with the C-PTSD, personally for myself, I can feel it coming on, so I can kind of feel it coming on, so I can kind of prepare myself for it. I can make sure that I have, a week's worth of food in the house. I can ask my partner Peter to make sure that the food is, that he's cooking for me. If I feel it coming on, I can prepare for it now. But my God, it's just taken a lot of mileage and a lot of knowledge, intimate knowledge, around the PTSD, and permission to give myself a permission to really be exactly where I am and not have to change or worry about anything, and just choose that I matter. Choose that my self-care matters. So your final question was, what support do you need? Right now, I just want to, because I'm now back, I feel like I'm back to myself. I feel really energized by work, which is great. What I really need right now is for people to talk about this work. Like, if this work has been helpful for you, then tell somebody about it. Do them a favor and spread the word, because there are so many people who are suffering when they don't need to. As in, if you don't have the knowledge to truly just change your life, then you can't change your life. Whereas if you do have the knowledge, talk to people about the 4 People Within. Go and grab the ebook from Merja.com and ask, anybody else who needs to have that information, just forward them onto the website. Just get people involved. We're creating a big movement. This is a 20 to 50 year movement of creating more compassionate and effective leadership in the world. And how you can help me, what support I need right now, is to help me with that movement. I haven't been able to do that for the last 2.5 years, and I feel like a natural drive towards doing that right now. And the more people we can engage in an empowering way, the less we have PTSD, the less we have problems, psycho-emotional problems like that. And the more we can really, truly be there for ourselves and for other people and make that vision into reality. So that's the support that I need right now, is to, if you see a person who needs to hear about this, tell them about this work. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question, and thank you for offering to help.